It's Rosh Chodesh today, and we're having Baruch Hashem Rosh Chodesh Suda. I want to share with you following idea. Baruch Hashem, I was zoche to with my son put out the sefer Imlo Yale, and it was a big simcha for me, the sefer, because it started at my son's Bar Mitzvah. We worked on the drasha together. It was about saying Amelech HaKadosh, and we had some questions after the Bar Mitzvah. So we worked on it a little more, and after 10 years, it became a sefer, right? Imlo Yale, about not saying Yale v'yavo. Just as Bein Zman, we started working on a new sefer. B'ezrat Hashem, it will be called Imlo Eskarechi, about all other haskaras in Tefillah. But Lamaisa, my Rebbe, Rav Shlomo Brevda Zatzal, Hagon HaTzadik, Rav Shlomo Brevda, he always used to say, when I speak to a group of people, I always assume that they know absolutely nothing, right? Which is, he said, he found often that's generally the truth. Now, I got a phone call last week from a certain Rav in a certain community who said when I spoke in that community, I offended almost every single person in the community, and I'm never invited back to come there again, which may feel good. But then right after that, I got a call from a Rav in the community who heard me speak. He said it was the best drasha I ever had to change my life. So what I took from that is that not everybody is meant to hear everything from every Rav. You have to know who you're talking to, and you have to know your audience.
What did the Rosh Chodesh say?
We'll speak about that after the show. But the thing is like this. The thing is that Reb Rebda used to say different levels of shirim, of how much he would tear people to pieces. And in this very room where we're sitting, where he spoke twice a year during Bein Zmanim, then he said, here I could say the whole truth. He would get about 150 Bachrim and Avrechim coming during Bein Zmanim, right at the end of Bein Zmanim, before the Zman started. And people would come to hear the whole truth and to be, and to be torn apart. They like that. And some people really like, but it's not for everybody, so you have to be careful. Right? The truth is, when I spoke, I really thought I wasn't offending everyone, but it turns out I did, so nobody's perfect. In any event, what I'm saying today is not so offensive, so I just thought I would give that hakdama since it's an important yisod to know for people who are potentially going to be pulpit rabbis. The point is like this. The point is a tefillah that comes up in Rosh Chodesh, Ya'aleh B'Yavo, right? Ya'aleh B'Yavo. And we've all said it many, many times. But the question is like, what are we asking for, right? Ya'aleh B'Yavo B'Yagia B'Yiroi B'Yashma B'Yamim Zichronenu V'Viktonenu V'Zichron Avosenu V'Zichron Mashiach. There's even a song, but like, what are we asking for? That the zikaron of Mashiach and Yushalayim and Avosenu should go up? What does that mean exactly? What exactly are we asking for? Right? That's one question I have. The other question is something that my son and I, we worked on in the Sefer. In the Akdam, we wrote a parish on Ya'aleh B'Yavo based on the Gra. And the Gra says something very interesting here. It says like this. He says, in the Tefillah Ya'aleh B'Yavo, it says 5 times Zikaron and 1 time Pikadon. Right? And he says the reason it says Zikaron 5 times is because there's 5 psukim that say Zikaron in the Torah. Right? And there's one pasuk that says Pikadon, Pakad Pikadati. Right? So we wrote here to be a gross, Rich and beer. What's the kasher? So it says 5 times. Very nice. What is it like, it's a mnemonic. It's to remember the 5 psukim it says in the Torah. What's the deeper meaning here? And what does this have to do with what I should be thinking about when I say Ya'aleh B'Yavo? Okay. So Lamaisa is the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara is in Rosh Hashanah, Daf Tes Zayin, very famous Gemara. Gemara says like this. Amal lefana b'Rosh Hashanah Malchus Zichronos b'Shofros Malchus Kadei Shetabchuni Eleni Zichronos Kadei Sheyale Zichronechem Lefanai Letova Ubama b'Shofar. Right? There's such a thing as called being Male a Zikaron Lefanai Letova. Now, Hashem has very good, memory. He doesn't have to remind of anything, right? Zikaron Letova. But the thing is like this, and this is the way Rav Safani explained to me last night. He said there's a lot of things which are ma'akav the zikaron from going up, right? Now, we'll see when we get to the psukim. There's a lot of good things that a Kodesh Baruch can remember about Klal Yisrael. And in fact, the psukim that we bring, right, four of the psukim are from Bichukosai. It says there, right, when it talks about Zikaron, it says, I'll read it to you, the psukim. It says, "V'zicharti es brisi Yaakov, v'avs brisi Yitzchak, v'avs brisi Avram skor, v'aretz skor. V'zicharti lem bris Rishonim." Right, all of these brisos that Hakadosh Baruch Hu made with us, the bris of Yaakov, the bris of Yitzchak, the bris of Avram, the bris of Rishonim, which Rashi says the Shvatim, right, the bris of the Aretz. Hashem has all these brisos with us, right, and the bris basically is that He's never going to abandon us, and He's always going to be with us and always take care of us. Right. The problem is that our actions get in the way, right? Sometimes we, as it were, we prevent HaKadosh Baruch Hu from remembering this, right? Because we are, because of the way we act. As one Rav once said, it says, "Kasha zivugo shel adam yosem mikriyas yamsuf." Why is it so kasha, right? It says that 40 days before Yitzhak Sablat, it says there's a bas call that goes bas ploni leploni, right? So the Rav explains that, oh yeah, that's the way they're supposed to look, right? The way they're supposed to look. It should be really easy to make shidduchim. You should be able to take any two boys and girls and to put them together very easily because it was already made. The problem is by the time they get to shidduchim, they look so different than they're really supposed to look, right? Then it's hard to match people up together. And that was Klal Yisrael at Kriyas Yamsuf. They didn't look anymore, right? Kasha Zivu Shal Yosem Kriyas Yamsuf, like the Yam was supposed to split for Klal Yisrael at the Yam, but Klal Yisrael did not look like Klal Yisrael was supposed to be. If we would leave with the bris of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, yeah, if we live in their, walk in their ways, in the ways of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and the Shvatim, then the bris would be Kaim. But the problem is that we get distracted, and we do things that we shouldn't. And Mamela, the Zikaron doesn't go up. Yeah, Hashem doesn't, as it were, he forgets about the bris, as it were. That's an Haggaz Hashem, to forget about the bris. So Lamaisa, what we're asking for, when we say Yalav Yavo, we're saying that a Kodesh Baruch Hu should remember these brisos that He made with us, the bris of the Avos and the bris of the Aretz, and Moshiach and Yerushalayim. Remember all of these things. The memory should go up and it should be poyel, right? It shouldn't remain a memory. It should be a reality, right? And the Zikaron, just like we say on Rosh Hashanah, right? The shofar reminds, as the Ritva explains there, it reminds us of Akedas Yitzhak, it reminds us of who we are, right? And I told Rav Safrani this much last night. He liked it, right? If you go to someone who your great grandfather really helped him out, right? And you ask him to help you, but you remind him of your great grandfather. He was a really great guy, right? And he sees that something about your great grandfather and you as well, right? So that will be Gorem Ava between. So that's what we're doing, Betzim. We're saying Yalav Yavo. We're asking the Zikaron should go up, and it should Hashem should remember us and our connection. All these brisos, the bris of the Avos, the bris of the Aretz, Yerushalayim, and Mashiach, and it should go up, and it should really be Paul. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us that this should happen. Amen. Kain Yeh Ratzon.